And thank you for tuning in today. Happy Thanksgiving week. We got a great show in store for you today. And I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Chastity, did you have a good time this weekend?
It was wonderful. Thank you.
I got some stuff done. I got my chores completed.
Yep, we had a great can drive over at Franklin's. A lot of fun.
Yeah, that's right, on Saturday.
Yep.
All right, I stopped by for just a minute over there.
Oh, yeah, I heard. I missed you.
There was a storm. I came in, I brought the rain with me, and then I left, and it cleared up, and it was a beautiful day. So I didn't stay long. We got a great show in store today. We've got Curtis Gwynn of Madison Coin and Bullion. I can't wait to talk to Curtis because they quit making pennies. Did you hear about this, Chastity?
I did hear about that.
So you may be sitting on a treasure. There may be some pennies in your coin jar that are now collector's items. So I want to pick his brain on that, and he'll be able to share with us maybe some tidbits. Yeah, right? You may be a millionaire and not even know it.
Well, I save pennies, which is funny. So I have, containers.
Well, I have a feeling he's going to be able to point us in the right direction of what to look for, some of the cool collector's pennies.
Exciting.
Yeah, and of course, he's got Black Friday deals, all kinds of neat things for Christmas time. Lance Goodson of Loganville Ford has some Black Friday deals. I was on their website last night preparing for that interview with Lance Goodson. I have not seen discounts this good since the Great Recession in 2010, 2011. So I'm excited to share some of those specials with our listeners. And then Mandy Perry McKenzie of the Loganville Women's Club, speaking of can drives, they're doing a canathon, right, Chastity? Is that what they got going on?
Yep. So, they got a big collection that all goes here locally. So
excellent. Yeah. So we'll be interviewing her a little bit later. And then the second hour, Georgia State Representative Houston Gaines, who's a candidate for Congress, will be joining us in studio at 1 o'clock. So this is a stacked, loaded show as always. We never fall short, and that's you getting us organized and getting these people scheduled. Well done, Chastity.
Hey, well, you have the great ideas. So.
Well, I point you in the right direction. You get it done. You got big plans for Thanksgiving?
I do. I'm going to go to Blairsville and visit some family and then do a little Friendsgiving as well. So got a bunch of kids lined up.
Friendsgiving. That's a new trend, isn't it? Friendsgiving.
It really is. So
I don't think guys do Friendsgiving. That's a girl's thing.
Well, y'all probably do that every day, golfing and pickleball, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and we do. We get together, we eat. It's not turkey, but Friendsgiving. That is a neat phenomenon. We're having striplings just cater everything this year.
I love striplings. Yeah. We've done that before too.
Yeah, we just don't have the time.
Everything is so good there.
We're going out of town afterwards, so we don't have time to cook. Yeah, I know. So we're going to get the turkey, all the sides, all the fixings. It's going to be done from striplings. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. So a couple little bizarre things before we get into our first interview today. I was reading last night. I did not know this was still going on, but the NFL does have an openly transgender cheerleader, and he's upset because he was cut from the squad. He thinks it's because of the anti-trans movement. I wonder if it's ever crossed anybody's mind that it's just, you tune in to watch football. If you're there at the game, you want to see a pretty cheerleader. You bring your son to the game. You say, son, I'm going to show you the pretty cheerleaders at the football game, son, and your 8-year-old son's there. And then they got to see that train wreck.
Yeah, just awkward.
Well, it's beyond awkward.
I mean, it's just, you don't want to explain that. You shouldn't have to explain that.
And I'm not talking about the male cheerleaders that lift up the cheerleaders and are there to support them.
Yeah.
This is a dude that wants to be a girl and is dressed like a girl cheerleader.
Yeah, just doesn't.
I didn't know this was going on in the NFL. Have they lost their minds? I thought we were past this.
Yeah, no.
And of course, he's upset because he thinks he got booted because of, whatever, cancel culture. That's not the case. You ever thought about the fact that you got booted because it's just plain old creepy? and then here's the other thing, too. I guarantee you there's some suburban liberals, women that go to this and they look at it and they oh, isn't that cute? And they say the little things that they're supposed to say. But deep down inside, everyone knows it's disgusting and it's creepy.
It's just cringy.
It is. Everybody knows. But only we're willing to say it. And then the other part is, you're taking a roster spot of some woman who is actually busting her tail to get on that cheerleading squad.
That's looked forward to that her whole life.
Right.
Because that's a big deal, So you're absolutely right. It kind of takes away from all their hard work, and it's not fair.
NFL just needs to get together and just ban it completely. Done.
Just get back to football. And just giving us football, a lot of fun, some, fun music, some good food, cheerleaders, the band.
Cheerleaders that don't have beards.
Yeah, please no.
Did you hear about this dirty little bear? It's a toy.
No.
It's called the Kuma bear, made in China. It's an AI-powered teddy bear. And they had to yank it off the shelves because this little teddy bear started, belting out some profanity and creepy little things that, it's a kid's toy, right?
I'm sure, yeah.
So the AI bear starts talking about some sexually explicit stuff, including spanking, role playing, and other weird things. Oh yeah, and then the little bear starts telling the kids, where they could find knives in the house and pills and matches.
What?
Yeah, so they had to pull it off the shelf. I don't know where it was. I don't know if this made it to the United States or not, but I was thinking, boy,
that's demonic.
Isn't that creepy?
Yeah,
A
that's
little AI bear.
No, I would not. No, keep that away from here at the studios and my house, please.
If under the tree you see somebody open, then the Kuma bear jumps out.
It's going in the fireplace.
Kill it. Assassinate it. Oh, man. Why does AI have to get into a teddy bear? I just don't get that.
That doesn't make sense.
No, doesn't make sense. Now, there's this documentary I have not began to watch, and it's on Prime. The documentary is called The Age of Disclosure, and this is digging deep into the theory that aliens do exist. And so the documentary claims that George H.W. Bush, that's George Bush's dad, you remember the president from 1988 to 92, that he personally acknowledged in 1964 an alien encounter at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. Now that is just bizarre. Astrophysicist Eric Davis, I guess he said that Bush told him in a private conversation that he had actually come face to face with a non-human entity. So I don't know if this is Bush saying that he came into contact with the non-human entity, or if he is aware of a situation where someone came into contact with a non-human entity. But they're saying that some unidentified craft approached the base in 1964. One reportedly landed, and then there was interaction with a human-like being from outer space. I don't know what to think of that, folks. I just can't buy it. I just can't buy it. I'm not an alien denier, but I do not think they exist. I think UFOs are probably a trick being played by other countries. Maybe I'm naive. I don't know. Maybe they do exist, but I need proof. I need hard evidence, and proof to me is not, well, he said, she said, and we heard this story about blah, blah, blah. I pretty much, at this point in my life, I need an alien to knock on my door. Not an illegal alien. I'm talking like an alien from outer space needs to knock on my door, and I need to see it in the flesh for me to actually believe that they exist. So, I don't know. Just need proof other than somebody saying. When we come back, Curtis Gwen of Madison Coin and Bullion, we're going to find out where those $1 million pennies are.
Here's Evan Youngblood for Youngblood Tractor in Madison.
Did you know Youngblood Tractor is much more than just tractors? Sure, we have the biggest selection of Massey Ferguson tractors around and all the attachments you could ever need. But did you know we also carry the Kawasaki side-by-side lineup like the legendary Kawasaki Mule, Terex, and Ridge? That's Kawasaki's new cab model with heat and AC. Youngblood Tractor also carries the complete Spartan zero-turn mower lineup from residential to commercial zero-turn mowers. Combine that with our massive trailer inventory of equipment, dump, enclosed, and utility trailers, you can always build a winning combination at Youngblood Tractor right here in Madison. We also feature a full parts and service department to help maintain your equipment for years to come. Whether you're a full-time farmer, hunter, or property owner looking to maintain your land, Youngblood Tractor is here to make your next outdoor project a success. Call us today at 706-342-2242 or stop by and see us at 1600 Athens Highway in Madison or shop us 24 hours a day at youngbloodtractor.com.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Anytime is a great time to make memories at the Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary in Lilburn. Close to home and fun for the entire family. Not only will you see wildlife up close, like bears, otters, bison, and more, you can enjoy a picnic lunch. There's gem mining and so much more. The Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary, 4525 Highway 78 in Lilburn. Make plans to visit soon. To learn more, go to yellowriverwildlifesanctuary.com.
Your call is very important.
Still waiting on your cable company to care? With slow speeds and hidden fees, maybe it's time to pull the plug. Kinetic gives you 100% fiber and gig speeds with 25 times faster uploads than cable. Local service that actually shows up, and clear pricing that isn't there to surprise you. So ditch cable and connect with the right crowd. Get up to $200 when you switch. Visit GoKinetic.com. Kinetic. Internet better. Subject to availability. Terms and conditions apply.
Tailgate season is here, and your tailgate one-stop shop is Stripling's General Store in Bogart. You'll find everything you need to make your tailgate a huge success. There's barbecue, chicken, fresh cut meats, side dishes like Brunswick stew, potato salad, snacks, cold beverages, ice, and so much more. Proud to support high school sports, it's Stripling's General Store, Highway 78 East and Highway 53 in Bogart, open 7 days a week.
Do you have unwanted or scrap gold and silver jewelry just lying around? What about sterling flatware or gold and silver coins and bars? Madison Coin and Bullion will pay top dollar for any precious metals you own. Madison Coin and Bullion also offers a large selection of gold and silver coins and bullion available to purchase at competitive prices. And if you're looking to purchase jewelry at a considerably lower price, look no further than Madison Coin and Bullion. Madison Coin and Bullion, located at 2492 Eatonton Road in Madison, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Welcome back, Marc McMain Show. We've got Miss Nikki Gwynn from Madison Coin and Bullion on the line with us. Miss Nikki, how are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good, good. I understand Curtis is under the weather. We hope he gets to feeling better.
Yes, our whole crew is.
Well, I know Curtis is the expert, but we still got a couple questions for you guys. Start off, Nikki. Tell us where you guys are located in Madison, or how do people find you?
We are located at 2492 Eatonton Road. We are about a mile off the interstate, right beside Farmview.
Oh, that's a great location, yeah. Farmview. I've been there many a time. Right off the interstate. So, Nikki, let me ask you this. Is there any uptick right now in people's conversations about pennies with this penny shortage? Well, I say penny shortage. It's because they quit minting pennies, and so I guess it's created a little bit of a demand. Are you guys seeing that trickle down to your store where people are coming in and asking or maybe trying to sell pennies to you?
Oh, yes. Everybody comes in going, look, should I hold my pennies, hold them, just because, they're stopping making them. And, it's like Curtis says, there's billions of pennies out there,
Yeah.
Nothing right now. I mean, obviously the old pennies. But, yeah, we have everybody coming in going, look, I'm going to hold my pennies. I'm going to hold my pennies. And we're like, we got plenty of pennies if you want them.
Yeah, and so you're right. Some of the collector's pennies, like the wheat pennies, and I'm not an expert in pennies by any means, but some of the old school collector's pennies, those have collector's values. But your pennies that are just sitting in your pocket, obviously good. So you want to scan them to be sure you don't have some unfound gem in there. But for the most part, your pennies are probably worth a penny. Is that about right?
Absolutely. And please be careful with those apps. We have plenty of people coming in asking about, hey, look, I got all this change in my pocket. I scanned it on the app, and it told me all my changes were $7,000.
Wow.
I forgot about that. I've heard about these apps. Yeah, so the app is something you download, then you scan the coin, and it gives you like a fair market value. Is that the idea?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and it's supposed to tell you if you've got something, like if there's an error with it, or if it's a certain one that's just a certain mint. And so people come in, and I feel horrible because, we have to tell them, you just got 65 cents right there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And
It's not $6,500.
It's not 7,000. Yeah. Yeah. And they'll think that it's a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad because their apps are very misleading.
Is that something that you guys can do if somebody was to bring in a coin and they think it maybe has collector's value? Can you guys, is there a fee for you to appraise it, or is that something that you and Curtis can do on the spot and tell somebody, yeah, you've got something of value here?
Curtis is the brains of all this. So Curtis can absolutely. Coins, with me, I mean, like, I can do your base when it comes to, like, your silver and gold value. That's what I do. But he can absolutely tell you, we don't give you, like, an appraisal. We just tell you what we would pay for it.
Right.
And there is no charge for it. And he's very fair on his prices. He's always been fair on, you know, anything he does. He does really well with it. And then some when it comes to errors, we also have people we know that we'll send them to and be like, hey, look, you know, what do you think about this one? Just to make sure, because on some of them, you know, when it comes to errors, you know, it's not our forte, really.
And when you're talking about errors,
we know people.
like a coin that was minted and let's say the date was upside down, is that what you mean by an error?
Yes. Not like your double die penny or anything like that, like the known errors, but like some of the other ones in there. So we just have a couple of guys we deal with and go, hey, look, what do you think here? You know, because we don't want to be misleading, you know, and we don't want to say, oh, we know everything, you know, any and everything. Curtis is really good about what he does, but with errors we do, and with some other things, we might ask other people's opinions on it, just people that have been dealing with coins for many, many years, and it's just something that they do.
Yep. You're listening to Nancy Gwynn, Madison Coin and Bullion. Curtis Gwynn, who's normally the guy that we interview, is sick. He's down and out. Nancy's stepping in and doing a heck of a job. One more quick question about coins. I know I bought a coin collector's kit for my boys when they were younger, so this was, you know, several years ago. And it's something they really enjoyed. There was like a little portfolio that you could put the quarters into. I think it was a quarter kit, if memory serves me correct. Is that something that you still see as a good, whether it be a stocking stuffer or a gift idea for a kid, is to start them with a coin collection?
I mean, that would absolutely be great. We have a couple little kids that come in, you know, just like the coins. Most people are taking all those coin books and bringing them to us right now. I would hope that that's something the kids would get into, and if that's how you have to get them into it, that would be great. I don't see it much. I just, like, we have one young kid that comes in, and he actually he was coming in because his grandpa had coins, and so he wanted to buy coins, so he's been buying coins, but then he saw that we buy gold and jewelry, and, like, scrap gold and jewelry.
Right.
So then he started going to yard sales and buying scrap jewelry and bringing it to us. Well, so... It's weird, the things that kids are interested in.
I'm glad you brought that up because gold prices have gone through the roof in the past several months. So what is it? What do you guys see in your end? Because you guys buy scrap gold. What have you seen on your end?
Oh, we're seeing a lot of people selling, which is great because we try to provide the best prices. I probably shouldn't say this, but like we have a lot of people coming in where we have these fly-by-night people coming into town and, you know, selling their, you know, like buying up all this gold from everybody, and they're not paying them the best. And, you know, we try to help everybody.
They're not getting top dollar, right? Yeah.
No, we had a couple of people coming in. They told us what their spot was and how much they had, and we told them what we were giving them, and they were upset. They're like, well, they gave us $1,500 less.
Wow.
Well, but I'm not advertising like I should. This is the first advertising I've done with y'all's radio station.
Well,
so
and that's
I'm
a big deal because
slacking.
if you do have a necklace, a gold necklace that you're wanting to liquidate, and you're trying to raise money for the holidays, you want to get top dollar for it. So, you know, I always tell people, hey, shop, be sure you understand what's out there, but I love hearing that you guys are giving top dollar for that. What about silver? What's happening with the price of silver right now?
Okay, with silver, it's a little off. About a month ago, we got a call from our refinery stating that they were not going to be taking like 90%, 925, anything like that. And because of that, we had to lower our prices because we had no outlet for it. You know, if we bought it, we had to hold it until they would actually buy it.
I got you.
They finally did open up, but they have a limit on what they're buying. So we're still at a little bit of a lower rate than what we normally would buy it for, but that's only because they only allow us to send so much up there to them. So, it's odd because all of the different places, you know, they've just quit buying all at once. They were focused on gold.
Yep.
So they kind of put silver to the side.
That stole the thunder.
So,
yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Nancy Gwynn, Madison Coin and Bullion. Nancy, let me ask you a couple more quick questions here. Holiday gift ideas. What are some suggestions that you have if somebody's looking for something different, something out of the norm, as opposed to something made of plastic, made overseas, that's going to break in a year? You can come in there and you can find some unique things that might last a generation or a lifetime. What do you guys have?
Well, right now we actually have we're going to do a sale on 90%, Peace Dollars, Morgans. We're doing those at spot price.
And those are the silver coins?
Yes, it's 90% silver.
Wow.
And then we have like pure 999 bars. We're doing those at spot price. And it's just while supplies last, because we can't. After we're done.
Yeah.
So we have our maples. We normally sell for $5 over spot. We have them at $2 over spot.
Tell us what a maple is.
They're Canadian maples.
Oh, Canadian maple.
Canadian maple.
Yep.
Yes, a Canadian maple. Yes, sir. We're selling those at $2 over spot right now as a deal going on. And even our eagles have went up immensely. Like, we were buying them for a few dollars over spot from our wholesale suppliers, and now we are at like $8, $7 over spot that they're charging us.
Wow.
So we had to go up on those a little bit, but right now we have some in stock that we're doing 2 over spot on right now. So
great deals. Perfect time to buy one of those.
While supplies last. Yes, sir.
Well, and those make such a good stocking stuffer. Again, what a great gift to give, whether it's to your son, daughters. You're trying to get them interested in currency. I know a lot of times grandparents will get these as gifts for their grandkids. Just a neat thing to give. It has value. It's not really going to go down. I can't think of anything that's gone down over the years. Everything like this goes up in value. So it's an appreciating gift as well as something that's got a great presentation. And one more time, Nancy, just tell the folks how they can find you, and if you have a Facebook page or a website and a phone number, how does somebody reach you?
We are located at 2492 Eatonton Road in Madison, right beside Farmview. Our number is 706-438-1150.
That's excellent. Well, that's Madison Coin and Bullion. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell Curtis I hope he gets to feeling better. Give him some chicken noodle soup or something. That usually
yes,
fixes
sir.
it.
You have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, we'll have Mr. Lance Goodson of Loganville Ford.
Your land is more than just real estate, it's your legacy. But what do you do with it? Manage it for the future, or is now the right time to sell? For more than 50 years, Forest Resource Consultants has helped landowners answer those questions. Our land management professionals will help create a plan that improves your timber's health and value. Stop wondering and start planning today. Visit frc.us.com or call Shane Boyer in Madison at 770-584-0725.
Hey, this is Doug.
And this is Robbie.
We own and operate Foy Tree Service.
When you need tree cutting, stump grinding, lot clearing, mulching, firewood, and more, call Foy Tree Service.
Serving Morgan County and surrounding area since 1987.
With top quality service and fair prices, we take pride in our work, and we do everything to make sure that you are a happy customer.
That's Foy Tree Service. Call us at 706-342-8733.
That's 706-342-TREE.
Finding that missing shin guard, remembering whether it's a home or away game, getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan.
Come on, Ref.
This is Esther Peters at Jim Boyd & Associates, Madison, Georgia, 706-342-2411 or jimboydagency.com.
There's nothing like a delicious Southern-style breakfast like you'll find at the Potluck Cafe, featuring eggs, Holyfield sausage, Thomas Brothers country ham, omelets, pancakes, hash browns, and more. Served up with a warm smile each weekday, Monday through Saturday, starting at 6:30 a.m. Voted the best breakfast and waitstaff in Walton County. It's the Potluck Cafe, open for breakfast and lunch. 115 North Midland Avenue, in Monroe. Find them on Facebook and see their menu at potluckcafe.com.
It's the biggest sale of the year on Black Friday at K&D Shoes and Conyers. From 7 a.m. till noon, save 30%. From noon until close, save 20% store-wide with very few exceptions. Over 50,000 pairs of shoes and boots to choose from for men and women. From name brands like Ariat, Rocky, Georgia Boot, and others. Plus, save on men and women's casual styles from Skechers, Hey Dude, Merle, and others. With cold weather coming, save on outerwear from name brands like Carhartt, Ariat, and more. The first 100 shoppers enjoy free copy while you save. On Black Friday, the place to be is K&D Shoes, 2250 Dogwood Drive in Conyers, where great deals and great brands come together for one big sale. Some exclusions do apply. See store for all the details. That's K&D Shoes' big Black Friday sale right there in Conyers.
You know how your grandma always told you things were better in the country, right? Boy, was she right. This is Lance Goodson from Loganville Ford, and great deals on new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs can be found out in the country at Loganville Ford. Here, when you walk in, you feel like family. I grew up with my mother and father serving you at Loganville Ford for over the last 20 years. Now the tradition continues with me at Loganville Ford. Find out how deals are better in the country. Visit LoganvilleFord.com. That's LoganvilleFord.com, or visit us on Highway 78 in Loganville.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. We just got some bad news that our buddy Lance Goodson of Loganville Ford is down and out, family emergency.
Yeah.
It's something's going on today. Something's in the water today, Chastity.
Yeah, we'll keep him in our prayers.
Keep him in our prayers, absolutely. And I've got some really cool things I had queued up to talk to him. And so what we're going to do, instead of me digging in and doing a poor job of this, I'm going to pause this and we will resume with Lance. We'll try either tomorrow or Friday if he's ready for action.
Absolutely.
Because they've got some crazy good specials going on. And until then, we got Mr. Jeff Hood on the line, our very own Jeff Hood. Jeff, thanks for joining us, sir.
Hey, Mark. Good to be with you.
Yeah, so quick recap on high school football. I know you had a big weekend this past week. Tell us what happened.
We did. We were in Madison for round 2 of the Georgia High School football playoffs. And Morgan County, it was a close game early, but the Bulldogs pulled away in the second half and defeated M.L. King and have advanced to the Elite Eight or the quarterfinals or round 3, and that'll be this Friday at Bill Corey Stadium in Madison, 7:30 p.m. kickoff, and that'll be our game of the week as Morgan County will welcome Hapeville Charter, a very good team that won a state title a couple of years ago, and yes, Hapeville is down near Hartsville Airport, so they don't have a very long drive, but yeah, we'll have that game. Should be a big crowd on hand, and we know we'll have a lot of listeners because, Mark, if Morgan County can win this Friday night, they will advance to the football semifinals for the first time in 63 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Jeff Hood, John Wilson will be on the call this Friday night. Jeff, are there any other area schools that have made it this deep into the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. Probably one of the biggest games in the state, other than what I feel like will be the one we're covering, is going to be in Bogart at Titan Stadium as North Oconee plays host to Marist, and that is a rematch of last year's Class 4A state championship game that we carried right here on WMOQ. So that's going to be just a tremendous ball game. And then, let's see, I'm trying to think in our area. Jefferson, the Dragons are still in the playoffs. They're still alive. Also, Jackson County, the Panthers, they're still in the running for a state title. Also, in Oconee County, I mentioned North Oconee, but you've got Prince Avenue Christian. They're still in the playoffs, as is Athens Academy. And I know that some of our other teams got knocked out, but those are the ones that immediately come to mind. Unfortunately, Monroe area ran into Sandy Creek and down in Tyrone, Georgia, and that was a difficult game for them, and their season came to an end. Also, Social Circle lost but we're still well represented.
Well, we got a lot of
it seems
football
to
still
me.
coming up, and you guys do a great job.
do.
I appreciate the effort y'all put in. Jeff, let's shift gears just for a second. Some political news hit the waves over this past weekend. Marjorie Taylor Greene announced she's going to resign from Congress January 5th will be her last day. What do you make of this? Is there something else that you think that she has in the back burner, or is she done? She's had a feud with Trump. President Trump has made it crystal clear he is done with her. And so do you think that is just enough to just move her along? Where does this go?
I mean, I've heard all kind of speculation. I know, she's kind of gone off the rails a little bit. She was on The View a few weeks ago, so she's kind of doing the Hollywood thing to a degree. She's kind of, defended some Democratic policies maybe. I mean, I don't know. She is all around the board, just shifting on a daily basis. And it was interesting. I'm working high school football, and I'm looking at all these alerts on my phone, and we're down in Morgan County calling the game, and then I get an alert that Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning from Congress. I'm like, oh, wow. Talk about your Friday news dump at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I will say this, Mark. I know if you will recall back on a late Friday afternoon, I think in May, she had been considering running for state senate, U.S. Senate in Georgia or governor.
Or governor, right? Yeah,
yeah.
I remember that.
And I think she had been, hoping to get an endorsement from Trump, and never did. And then remember, she had that little blow up. She tweeted or put on social media that she's not going to run for Senate, not going to run for Congress, and not going to run for Senate, not going to run for governor, is going to stay in Congress, and went on a tirade.
I remember,
saying that, the two guys, or at the time, two guys running for Congress before Dooley got in, they were just like, vanilla, and she could have beaten them, and she was attacking fellow Republicans, and I thought, gosh, this is so weird.
So maybe some sour grapes that she didn't get President Trump's support in that Senate or governor's race. That could be it. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Jeff Hood. We're discussing the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene made an abrupt announcement this past weekend. She's resigning from Congress. January 5th will be her last day. So they'll hold a special election, Jeff. Any names being floated? I'm sure Colton Moore is one of them that'll be floated for that. He's kind of a Marjorie Taylor Greene male version.
Right.
Any other names that are being floated out there to run for that seat?
Well, there's several. To me, the one that, if I had to make my pick, of course, I don't live in the 14th district, but it would be Jason, and I think it's Antavarte, that is kind of becoming a rising star in the state, in the Republican Party. He's in the state Senate, and he's going to have even more clout when the General Assembly meets here in 49 days at the state capitol. He this kind of flew under the radar, but when Steve Gooch announced, he's a state senator, when he announced he's running for lieutenant governor, he has relinquished his role as the majority leader in the Senate, and I believe Jason has that role. So he's going to have even more clout when they gavel back in January. But he's from up in that area in northwest Georgia, and I think he would be a great candidate, in my opinion, more so than Colton Moore. But that's an interesting district, Mark, because they really seem to align with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who on some things has been very far right. And so it'll be interesting to see, who the candidates are when the special election is set up, which will be sometime early next year. And now keep in mind that you do not have to live in that district. You just live in the state to run, which is still bizarre.
It is bizarre. That's a law that I think should change, because you're representing your constituents and you no longer, and that's happened before. I think out in California, is it Maxine Waters that does not live in her congressional district? I could be wrong.
Probably.
I'm shooting from the hip. But
wouldn't be surprised.
So it does happen from time to time. And I think the main thing, Jeff, is this. We want somebody who's going to go up there and that is going to legislate, that's going to do their job. They're going to participate in the process. They're going to support fellow Republicans. They're going to work together to get good conservative policy put into law. And that is what missed. And here's what is concerning to me is the ongoing trend of those trying to get to Congress to raise their social media profile, Jeff, and to maybe pad their bank account. I know some people do this from the right part. They're doing it from the heart. They're doing it because they want to participate. Our guest in the second hour is Houston Gaines. He is one of those guys. He is a fantastic legislator. He's demonstrated that he can get things done, and that's what we want in D.C. But you and I have also seen it. Some of these candidates, they get up there, the congressmen, and their net worth is a normal net worth of an average American citizen. They come out and they're multi-millionaires. It's mind-blowing. I think we're sick and tired of that. I know I am.
Yeah, no doubt. And, they seem to get up there and they say all the right things when they're campaigning, and they get up there and they lose their moral compass. So you're talking Houston Gaines in the 10th congressional district, and he's going to be fantastic, by the way. I know he's coming up on your show at 1 o'clock today, and I can't wait to listen. But, if you go back, of course, Mike Collins currently holds that seat, and he's running for Senate. But go back before that, and Jody Heiss held the seat. And Jody was one of those guys that he term limited himself.
That's right.
And I don't think he went up there and got mega rich, by being a congressman. And he was he's a good dude. And, I like people like that go up there and they're not going to make a career, and they're wheeling them in the wheelchair to vote. They're 90-something years old. And, he did it. I think Jody did it for the right reasons. And I know Houston will. Houston is a superstar. And, I see Congress as just another stepping stone to something even, for him, bigger and better down the road.
Very likely, very likely. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Jeff Hood, stepping in for us. Jeff, any other closing notes that you have, whether it be on the political side or the local side? I know we have another big race to replace Marcus Wiedauer, who abruptly kind of resigned his position due to business obligations, leaving a big void and a fast election. Good Lord, it's December 9th. So early voting is going on now, and that election is just in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, and that is Georgia House Representatives District 121. Touches a good portion of Oconee County, part of Clark. Early voting is actually underway right now. It started last week, so you can early vote today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and next week. And then Election Day is Tuesday, as you said, December the 9th. The big message is just go vote. And I think in Oconee County, for this particular special election, turnout's been really good. So that's great to hear. And it's Dutch Gist, Republican, against Eric Gisler, the Democrat. So I know that from the Republican side, we got our rear end handed to us in that PSC race. So if you're Republican
turnout was low.
And live in this district, you got to do your thing and go vote. And hopefully people will do just that. And that's at the county administrative office in Oconee County. If you live in that,
that's where early voting takes place.
That's correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, is very insightful. Yeah. No, I appreciate all you stepping in. We I don't know what it is. Our first two guests today, they were sick and out of commission. We had some trouble, didn't we, Chastity?
Yeah. It was kind of a little bumpy, but it's okay. We still got it off to a great start.
We did.
Very informative for the listeners, so that's what matters.
When we can pinch hit somebody like Jeff Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff, you're like Arzuna coming off the bench, hitting grand slams.
He saved the day.
That's right.
Yeah, glad to. Hey, and again, remember, now Friday, Georgia Tech play at Mercedes-Benz at 3:30. About the time that game ends, we're going to kick it off over in Morgan County. So you can be anywhere in the world. You can be leaving Mercedes-Benz Stadium, turn your streaming device on, and listen on WMOQ to this. Just going to be an outstanding high school football Elite 8 game, Hateville Charter at Morgan County, and it's just going to be just an unbelievable game. And Morgan County hoping to make some history, at least from the standpoint of it's been more than 6 decades since they got to the semifinals.
Wow. Yeah, that'll be
incredible.
exciting. No, you guys do such a great job, Jeff. I appreciate you. Appreciate John. It's very professional. And yes, if you're not within the listening area of Q92.3 WMOQ, go to WMOQFM.com and you can stream the games
Anywhere.
You could be sitting on the beach listening to high school football.
You could be in Greece.
Well, I will say, Mark, I had someone that lives in South Carolina text me that I know, and he said, hey, I'm listening to the game Friday night. So, yeah, I mean, you can be anywhere, and you just turn us on your stream and you can listen.
That's awesome. Well, Jeff, I appreciate you joining us, buddy. I know you got to get back to work and make some money, and hope you have a happy Thanksgiving if I do not see you before then.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Chastity.
Thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely. Mark McMain Show. When we come back, this Mandy Perry McKenzie with the Loganville Women's Club. They're doing a can-a-thon. We're going to find out how we can help feed the hungry. We'll be right back.
Since 1979, the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family has been caring for families in their time of need. The Tim Stewart family pledges to honor your loved one with excellence in service, compassion, and will guide you in making the right decisions. To learn more about the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family, stop in at one of their 3 locations in Monroe, Loganville, and Lawrenceville. Call 770-267-2594 or go to stewardfh.com.
Roll-Off Systems of Statham, they're on a roll. They offer dumpsters in all sizes, trash compactors, porta potties, and new combo cans. Existing sites are new building sites. Trash and waste disposal, it's their business. Locally owned and operated. Call Roll-Off Systems today. 770-725-ROLL. That's 770-725-ROLL. Or go to rolloffsystems.com.
Lake Life is the Lake Area's largest award-winning magazine, reaching over 25,000 readers. Pick up your copy of Lake Life magazine today. Get Lake Life free at over 100 convenient locations in Georgia's Lake Country. And keep in mind, you'll receive your free copy with a subscription to the Lake Oconee News or the Eatonton Messenger. Lake Life. It's all about the lives and events in Georgia's Lake Country. Call 706-485-3501 to subscribe. Lake Life, the biggest, the best, and it's free.
It's already that time of year. Time to start thinking about what you're going to gift your office staff, clients, and relatives spread out all across the country for the holidays. Well, the only real option is to go with Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Everybody appreciates the gift of high-quality pecans, walnuts, almonds, and cashews. How about some coffee and dried fruit, too? It's all online at stonemountainpecan.com or make a family trip of it to their country store on Highway 78 in Monroe. Stone Mountain Pecan. Eat well, be happy.
When your windows need cleaning, you need Moreland Window Cleaning. They're a Christ-centered, family-oriented business that takes pride in treating your home like it's their own. They provide affordable and reliable window cleaning services for your home or business, both exterior and interior. Give them a call for your free quote today, 770-298-8370. Moreland Window Cleaning. They guarantee crystal clear views every time. That's 770-298-8370.
I've got to tell you about the best kept secret in Monroe for electric wholesale supply, Allen's Electric. Family owned and operated since 1972, Allen's Electric offers a complete line of electrical supply, wiring, breakers, bulbs, heating elements, electric motors, light fixtures, and so much more. Located at 925 West Spring Street in Monroe, stop by and see Brian and Cindy, in business for over 50 years. That's Allen Electric Supply, 770-267-5572.
Welcome back, Marc McMain. We've got 2 guests with us now from the Loganville Women's Club. We've got Mandy Perry McKenzie, and who is the other guest, Chastity?
Lee Munsey. She's our president.
She's the presidente.
She's amazing.
Ladies, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Heck yeah. Well, let's start off with this. I know we've had you guys on before, but I want you to tell the listeners again about the Loganville Women's Club. Chastity, I know, is a big advocate for what you do, but in y'all's own words, tell us what you do.
Well, we're a big group of ladies. Are we up to 32 now, Lee, or is it more than that?
Wow.
Yeah, we're actually at 36.
36.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're a civic organization that gives back to the community. Everything we do goes back into Walton County or Loganville, and we just do a wide variety of volunteer things that give back to the community.
That is so. It's kind of like a Rotary Club, just for women.
Exactly.
And do you meet weekly?
Yeah,
Do you
it's like
meet
a
monthly?
Rotary Club full of women.
Well, all right.
Yep.
I like that. I like that.
And the longest women's club for Walton County.
The longest-standing women's club for Walton County.
Yep.
Ladies, let me ask you this: are there other clubs like this in other communities? Like, for example, is there a ladies' club in Barrow County? Is there one in Watkinsville? Is there one in Athens that you're aware of, or is this kind of exclusive to y'all?
There are other clubs that I know that Winder has one. So I don't want to say like all of the different cities surrounding that do, because I'll probably mess that up. But yes, there are other cities that have women's clubs. Yes.
And the one in Winder,
but nothing as great as ours.
this is the best. This is the pinnacle. Yeah.
Yes,
Hey, but
we are the best.
we expect nothing less from Walton County. Well, and I'm just going to put
And
this out there.
we're a varied group of women. We've got from I don't know, the oldest maybe 80s to down to the 20s. So there's a wide group of ladies, not just old, not just young, but and we all work well together and enjoy company and all kinds of things.
I love that. I love it. Well, I appreciate what you guys do. And I'm going to tell you, if there's a representative from another women's club in our listener area, call in, let Chastity know. We'll give you some airtime. If you got an event going on that you want to help or you want us to help you promote, we'll do it. Just email info@WMOQFM.com and send us your details, and we'll get you on the air. That's how these ladies have done it. Yep. So tell us about the Canathon. Where are you in this phase? Are you handing out stuff now, or are you still collecting cans? Where are we?
We're in the very beginning of it, of our phase of cans. We have a festival of trees that I'm the committee chairperson for that committee, and it's different groups in Loganville that put a tree. Their whatever they would like to sponsor or whatever their theme is, and they do a festival of trees in the city of Loganville. And this year, I think they said there's 12 trees now, and we all compete for providing the most cans for our community. And our cans, I assume all of the cans do, Lee, is that right? Do they all go to the Shepherd staff?
Yes.
But yeah, so we support this event supports the Shepherd staff in Loganville. It's actually in our little city, and we all raise or try to raise as many cans as we can. We did win it last year, and we're very proud of that. And I'm sure we may have won it several other times, but I've only committee chaired for the last 2 or 3 years. So,
and it's an amazing
it's a really fun
tree.
event. Yep, and it's such a great event, and we give back to our community, and all the cans and the food goes to our community and the city of Loganville, and it's just a great thing.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We've got Lee, we've got Mandy. They're with the Loganville Women's Club. They have a can-a-thon. This is a can drive to help feed those that need help. What kind of cans are they looking for, and how do they get them to you? So is it like soups? Is it beans? Is it anything specific that you're asking for? And then where do they drop it off? How do they deposit it?
It could be anything. It could be, we have ramen noodles. We have anything. It doesn't matter. It's non-perishable, obviously. Canned soups. We have some canned hams this year. And just whatever anybody could donate. It's every bit of it is a huge need. Now, our Festival of Trees is in the city of Loganville. It's at the city hall, and we have a women's club tree, and they typically they go and drop them off at the city hall. and you put it around the tree of your, your favorite tree.
Whichever group that
And
you're
we
trying to
hope that
support.
the women's club tree would be your favorite.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
Mandy, tell them about your tree. How this is like White House, like completely ready. I mean, the most beautiful tree.
Oh,
really?
All by hand.
Yeah.
She makes all the
We
ornaments
did-
by hand.
Nice.
Well, last year we made all the ornaments by hand.
Yes.
And we did a candy tree, and it was absolutely precious.
Beautiful.
And this year we don't have the blues in the ladies club, the Loganville Women's Club. And so we have a blue tree this year with the big white bow on the top that's furry and a furry tree skirt and just beautiful blue poinsettias and different things. And if you look real close, you need to find the Elvis. There's an Elvis on there, and he's sort of a star attraction, but you got to look for him.
Well, Mandy, I want you to do us a favor.
that's-
Take a picture of this tree, send it to Chastity, and we'll put it on our social media page, and then we'll put the location of where people can go to make the contribution of the can donation. So you're saying Loganville City Hall is the best place to go to deposit the cans if you've got something you want to contribute. Is that right?
Yes.
And-
yes.
and
Is
put
that
it-
right, Lee? Is that the best place to go? I mean,
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
put it under the Loganville
mhm.
Women's Club tree, which is going to be, from what I understand,
Absolutely.
the best dressed tree
Yeah.
in the building. Who are you competing against? Who are some of the other trees?
We've got the Lions Club. We have the Rotary Club.
Ooh, now
we
you know
have.
I'm a Rotarian.
Yep.
I'm a Rotarian.
So,
Well, I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
I'm going to be.
Oh,
I'm going to have
Lordy.
a tough decision to make when I come up there with my can of beans or whatever. that
Hey, you need to put it under the Loganville Women's Club tree,
There
though,
you
because
go.
that's the right thing to do.
If
There
the
you
Rotary Club is to find out that a Rotarian did do at least
No,
something
I'm
for the Rotary
kidding.
Club.
All of the trees are fabulous this year.
Yes.
They really are. The mayor has a tree. Sweet Pea.
The police department.
The police department. And there's so many more, and I don't remember all of who they were because we were working on our tree hard this morning. And but I do know those few. But they're just so awesome. They're just really beautiful trees this year. I'm telling you, people outdid themselves.
Well, I
So
can't
we're
wait to
super
see 'em.
excited to be a part of it. And hey, it's all for a great cause.
That's right.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Lee and Mandy are our guests. They're from the Loganville Women's Club. Ladies, one more thing before we go. Are there any other big events coming up, say after Thanksgiving or Christmas, that you want to promote?
Lee, can you tell them about the Methodist church thing? Is that something we should mention?
And Bunko.
Yeah, actually, we have our next big event is going to be in March, and that is when we do a Bunko fundraiser. And there'll be more details closer to that since it's not until next year.
Yeah.
But all of those proceeds go toward scholarships for high school seniors. And it's not only a good cause, but it is a fun night.
Wow.
Lots of local businesses give out gifts, so there's a lot of door prizes.
Yeah.
You will not want to miss that.
I
And that's
have
for
no clue what Bonko
men,
means, but
women.
Bonko sounds fun. It sounds fun to say. Just saying Bonko sounds
Yeah.
like a good time.
Bunko, yeah.
It's
Is-
a
is-
reason
Bunko
for women
Bay.
to get
Is
together.
Bonko
Yeah.
a contact sport?
Yeah.
I mean, is there do you guys wear helmets when you play Bonko, or is it?
Well, you
Sounds
could
like it
consider
would
that
be.
sometimes, but not really.
No,
it's
a
pretty
dice
friendly.
game. It's a dice game.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a dice game.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a dice game.
All right.
And I
Yeah.
tell
And then in
anybody.
April, oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just tell anybody if you can count to 6, you can play Bunko.
Hey, I'm in.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I checked that box.
Absolutely.
I checked that box.
And then don't forget us, again, we'll remind you, but April 21st will be our annual blood drive at Loganville Baptist Church.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Well,
But but other than those major events, we do so many sponsors. We sponsor the Special Olympics. All of our ladies come and help out, and we do Shop with a Cop, and we do all kinds of Christmas events where, we our club donates gifts to the Methodist Church and for the needy families in our community too, and It's just such a wonderful thing. We try to help everybody. We try to do as much as we can.
That is excellent. I appreciate what y'all do. Our guests are Lee Munsey, Mandy Perry McKenzie. They're with the Loganville Women's Club. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and I wish you the best of success in this endeavor.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And ladies, this is a challenge to you if you're in our listener area, Morgan County, Greene County, Oconee County, Clark County, Barrow County. If you are part of a women's club and you've got something going on that you want to promote, don't get outdone by the Loganville Women's Club, because they are kicking butt.
They are good.
They've got 38 members out there raising cans for the needy and those that are hungry. So if you want to participate, if you want to get your message out and help support your cause, email us at info@wmoqfm.com and tell us all about it. We'll be right back with Georgia State Representative Houston Gaines, who is a candidate for United States Congress.
This is Q92.3 WMOQ FM, Bostwick, Monroe, Madison. Your home for real country.
Are you considering selling your house or land, or perhaps find your dream home? Call Stacy McCullers, your trusted real estate expert. With 12 years of experience and a lifelong connection to Walton County, Stacy is here to help you every step of the way. Whether you're buying or selling, she's available anytime to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. Don't wait. Call today, 678-859-6336. A member of Malcolm & Malcolm Realty Professionals, Stacy McCullers, your realtor for life.
April Lynn here, inviting you to join me and Les Lane for a live remote broadcast at Berry's Tree Farm on November the 28th from 10 until 1, located at 70 Mount Tabor Road in Covington. Take pictures with Santa in his sleigh, ride the train, or take the kids to the petting zoo or bounce house. Have some hot cocoa or apple cider while choosing your tree. There's lots of beautiful trees and good eats at the concession stand. We'll be giving away Real Country t-shirts, tickets to Stone Mountain, and more. We'll be live on location with Real Country 92.3.
If you're short on money and need to buy a laptop or even a musical instrument, go by Fieldstone Pawn for the best price. Looking for something special? Fieldstone Pawn has a large selection of jewelry. They'll give you the best price possible for your items, and they buy gold and silver. Fieldstone Pawn has a large selection of electronics, guns, tools, and so much more. Located at 2315 Iris Drive in Conyers. Check them out on the web at fieldstoneJewelryandPawn.com or call 770-483-8248.
Are you looking for custom t-shirts, golf shirts, or uniforms for yourself or work? What about a family reunion, a fundraiser, or sports team? Whatever you're looking for, Chris and Debbie at Blue Hound in Monroe can help you. Real Country uses Blue Hound for our golf shirts and t-shirts. They do quality work and they're great folks. Blue Hound is located at 111 East Washington Street in Monroe. Go by and see what they can do for you or call 404-307-3664. That's 404-307-3664. Tell them April sent you.
My name is Trace Akins. I'm from Moultrie, Georgia. To be an organ donor, it would make my family really proud to see something of me live on in someone else. I want my legacy to be me being there for someone who really needs me and helping someone out that really needs help, hoping that they will continue that legacy within themselves and do that with their friends and family.
When you become an organ and tissue donor, your story continues. LifeLink. Register today at mystorycontinues.com.
April Lynn here, inviting you to join me and Les Lane on December the 6th for a live remote broadcast at Patrick's in Covington from 10 until 1. There'll be lots of giveaways starting at 10:15 and a drawing every 15 minutes for a gift certificate for Patrick's merchandise. Real Country will be giving away Real Country t-shirts, tickets to Stone Mountain, and more. Be sure to check out the largest candy counter and fruit baskets and pecans located at 10285 Covington Bypass. We'll be live on location with Real Country.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. Chassie, that was a good interview. I really do want to encourage other women's clubs to call in because they're doing good stuff.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's like the Rotary Club for women.
Yep.
The Rotary Club does such good things for the community. So I wasn't even aware that this existed in Loganville.
Amazing group of ladies.
30,
Absolutely.
what did she say, 36, 38 members?
Yep.
Wow.
And grows every year, so.
When y'all get together, do y'all eat?
Yeah, we eat.
Is it potluck? Like y'all bring it? Y'all do some cooking?
Sometimes it's catered, and the last one was Thanksgiving, so we had our Thanksgiving feast last Tuesday, and it was delicious. So all the ladies cooked.
I
And
bet
it was
that
like
was good.
cobblers and all the good fixings.
Would they make an exception and let a guy come in one time, like when that, and I
You
come
can
visit?
come in and speak.
Okay, there we go. Do I get to eat if I speak?
Yep. We'll
I'm
invite
in.
you to come
Sign
in
me
to
up.
speak.
I'll come.
Absolutely.
I'll
sign
do
you
it.
up.
Well, I'm excited. Our next guest is Georgia State Representative Houston Gaines. He is running for Congress. He is a friend of mine, and he is catching the world on fire right now. Houston, thank you so much for joining us today, sir.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Good to be in your studios, and good to see the facilities. And hope all has been going well in the first few weeks of starting the show.
It's going great. We, the studio this place has been here for decades. And so we have our station manager, Charlie, our producer, Chastity, went to town, went to work on giving everything a facelift. So if you had been able to see the place prior to the upgrades that we did and see it now, you would. It's a transformation. It'd be like one of those reality shows where they go in and they remodel the place in 24 hours. That's what
awesome.
happened here.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, we're excited about
Congratulations.
it. No, thank you, and congratulations to you, Houston. Let's start from the beginning. Tell the listeners a little bit about you, folks that maybe don't know you. Obviously, you have a tremendous reputation in the General Assembly for fantastic legislation that you've been a part of. But tell people about the personal side, a little about you growing up, background, family.
Sure. Born and raised in Athens, just down the road, and went to the University of Georgia, and so I've never left Athens. A place that I love. I don't love the politics of Clark County so much, but other than that, I Athens is a place that our family's called home for 3 generations. My parents still live in Athens. My grandparents lived in Athens, and before them, go back I think to the 1790s in Elbert County.
Wow.
And,
okay.
And also Franklin County, and so Northeast Georgia has been our family's home since the 1700s, and certainly honored and blessed to have the opportunity to have represented Clark, Oconee, Barrow, and Jackson counties in the State House the last 7 years. And professionally, I'm in the civil engineering business, help run the business side of a small firm in Oconee County, Carter Engineering. And so very blessed, and actually getting married in 2.5 weeks.
Congratulations on that.
I probably should know the exact number of days. I think we're at 18 days. So excited about that, and big time in our life right now, and so really excited about that.
Well, I've met your fiancée. She's a lovely lady, and congratulations to you both. That is very, very exciting. You've got a lot going on right now.
It's been a busy few months, to say the least, and she's certainly been a trooper through it all. We got engaged August of last year, and it wasn't quite in the plans for in the middle of planning a wedding to run for Congress.
She didn't see this coming.
No, neither one of us did. I'll say that. And but she has been 100% supportive, and been incredibly supportive through all this, and I'm very lucky.
Hugely important. They can say 3 of the most stressful things a man can go through are marriage, building a home, and career change. You're doing 2 out of 3. Are you building a home too?
We're not building a
Okay.
home yet.
Right.
No, that's not in the plans.
Well, good. At least you just got 2 out of 3, but it's a lot on your plate. Houston, let me ask you this. Think back to your childhood family. What role has family played in shaping who you are today, whether it's how you legislate or how you pursue life?
In a massive way. My parents have been very, very good to me for the last 30 years, and both been very involved in all my political campaigns. My mom knocked on thousands of doors for me when I ran for the state house.
Did she really? Oh, that's
literally,
cool.
literally
Yeah.
thousands. And my father just recently retired, and so he has been hired for $0 to drive us around the district running for Congress, and he's probably one of the more qualified drivers. Retired as a doctor for the last 37 years. So
he is very overqualified.
that is true. And my brother and sister. My sister lives in Oconee County. My brother's in residency, training to become a doctor.
Good for her. Okay.
As well, and so, but my family has just been incredible, and whether it was in going through middle school, high school, and in college, and certainly since I've been in the professional world and been going through this political process. My grandfather was a Superior Court judge in Clark and Oconee counties, and so. I got to watch him for some of my earlier years of life, to see all that he did for our community and the impact that he had. And I still hear stories probably once a week of something my grandfather did, and to hear the impact he had on people. He was a judge that I think did things the right way, and he held people accountable for their actions. And he also, gave folks the opportunity to make things right. And so the things that I hear about him, pretty neat. Certainly I knew some of that when I was younger, but to hear it still every single day and wherever I go, whether it's in Athens or throughout the state, a lot of people knew my granddad and the impact he had.
He left a legacy.
He did.
Yeah, I love that. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Houston Gaines. He's a candidate for Georgia's 10th District in the House of Representatives in D.C. Houston, was there a moment in your life where it was kind of maybe an aha moment that you're like, hey, I'm going to get into politics? I mean, is this something that you kind of felt percolating as a teenager, or was there a moment that just the light bulb went off?
Well, I've always been interested in politics. In high school, I announced high school football games and basketball games. I actually started in 7th grade doing announcing. And
hey, you hear that, Jeff Hood? If Jeff ever slips up, then we got a replacement.
Yeah. That's right. I'll be your fill-in. All right. But anyway, that's what I wanted to do. I went to the University of Georgia as a journalism major and wanted to go into sports broadcasting, and maybe one day still want to do that. I'm a big sports fanatic. I love the Dogs, and anyway, I just love sports, and so that's what I thought I wanted to do, was to go into sports broadcasting. Went to UGA, as I said, as a journalism major. But while in college, had the opportunity to work on some political campaigns and watched them up close, and also saw how individuals in office, if they were doing things the right way, could have a positive impact. And I felt like we needed more people in politics who do things the right way and are in it for the right reasons. And so ultimately, I'll never forget, I was actually in Israel, I guess 7 or 8 years ago, when I got the news that our state representative was leaving. It would have been talked about before I left, but I was actually in Israel when it officially happened, and I made the final decision. I remember on the plane ride back, long plane ride, and so a lot of time to think through that decision process, and so ultimately made the decision to run, and it was a crazy few months. It was a special election, November of 2017, and ran hard because I think I announced in July. It was a very quick election with a
short
resignation.
Window. Yeah.
And, headed into that election, I tell this to folks, the story is, at that time I was the favorite, had raised the most money and had done things, I think, the right way. But it was a time where Republicans had a bad election night, and I ultimately lost that first election.
Mm-hmm.
It was certainly not something I enjoyed going through, but I do think for my political...
How old were you at that? Were you 24 then? I'm trying to do the math. 23. So you suffer your first political defeat at 23 years old. It would probably make the average person cave and run and say, I'm never doing this again.
I thought about that. Never doing it again. Yeah. Because you put yourself out, as you know, you're going, have been through this,
sure.
And going through this. When you run for office, you very much put your, self in a very public way, and you learn new things about yourself every time you pull up the internet, some comment or something, and you never know what people are going to say. Or you go to the mailbox and you get a mailer about yourself, and it's quite interesting what people say. So it was a tough thing, and it was, again, headed into that election, everybody in the state thought I was going to win. I mean, I was the favorite. I remember people calling and saying, what committees are you going to serve on, and asking those sort of questions. And on election night, I represent 4 counties. 3 of the 4 I win 75-25, but then the last one I lose. Not quite that bad, but I lose. And so the first 3 counties came in very quickly, and at 8 o'clock I'm up 75-25, and then I'm getting texts from everybody, including the speaker and others, saying congratulations on your win. I knew that the numbers could be a problem. But you
weren't ready to celebrate yet.
Yeah, I wasn't. Everybody I remember we were at Hilltop Grill in Athens, and everybody else was celebrating, but I kept saying this is not quite good enough.
Yeah.
And then about 11 o'clock at night, Clark County comes in, wipes it all out.
Oh man!
And so that was not necessarily a fun thing, but I do believe for my political life, it was actually, I learned a lot. I mean, it's something that I think taught me a significant amount about politics. It taught me a lot about. And it reinforced to me, I'm never running a race I'm going to lose again. And that's when I ultimately decided a few months later to run in 2018, so the next year. I wasn't going to lose that race. I was all in. We went all in. We did everything to ensure that we were successful. And it wasn't because I wanted to be in office. It was because I felt like the person that was there was not doing a good job. And that's why I ultimately decided to run again. And we were successful in 2018.
That's a great story. And think about this, Jody Heiss, Mike Collins, our legendary sheriff here in Walton County, Joe Chapman, who's now retired. All 3 of those guys lost their first race. And sometimes defeat is the first step in the path of victory.
You learn a lot. I mean, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about others. I mean, it is a process that again, it wasn't good for our community because we had a very liberal, bad state representative for a year. But for me personally, it certainly taught me a lot, and something that will stay with me for the rest of my life.
That's excellent. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Houston Gaines. He's a candidate for United States Congress. When we come back, we're going to talk about the mechanics of how the General Assembly works, especially in regards to how bills get passed. We'll be right back.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Your call is very important.
Still waiting on your cable company to care? With slow speeds and hidden fees, maybe it's time to pull the plug. Kinetic gives you 100% fiber and gig speeds with 25 times faster uploads than cable. Local service that actually shows up, and clear pricing that isn't there to surprise you. So ditch cable and connect with the right crowd. Get up to $200 when you switch. Visit GoKinetic.com. Kinetic. Internet better. Subject to availability. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you looking for new tires? Well, look no further than Madison Car Care. They have the largest selection, and you'll always get the best price. They also handle a wide range of auto repairs, from the small things like oil changes and wiper blades to the big things like suspension, parts, and radiators. They offer all kinds of accessories, from toolboxes to bed covers, side steps, and they even install those awesome ranch hand bush guards. Give them a call at 706-342-4774 or stop by at 1040 Confederate Road in Madison.
There's something about a clock. It keeps working even when you don't think about it. All day, all night. Behind the clock is a machine you'll never see. Always reliable, always accurate. It wasn't a mistake when we named our heating and air company Clockwork. Yeah, some folks call us and ask if we can fix their watches. We can't. But we can fix your furnace and air conditioning brilliantly, so it runs like a clock. Runs when you're not even thinking about it. But there's something else about the clock in Clockwork Heating and Air Conditioning. We have mad respect for time. We make ourselves available on your time. We never waste your time. And we're at your house in a timely manner. This is what it means to work like clockwork. Clockwork Heating and Air Conditioning. Clockwork-air.com.
You know how your grandma always told you things were better in the country, right? Boy, was she right. This is Lance Goodson from Loganville Ford, and great deals on new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs can be found out in the country at Loganville Ford. Here, when you walk in, you feel like family. I grew up with my mother and father serving you at Loganville Ford for over the last 20 years. Now the tradition continues with me at Loganville Ford. Find out how deals are better in the country. Visit LoganvilleFord.com. That's LoganvilleFord.com, or visit us on Highway 78 in Loganville.
Welcome back. Marc McMain. Our guest is Houston Gaines. He's in the Georgia House of Representatives, and he's running to be our next representative for Georgia's 10th Congressional District. Houston, let's talk about the mechanics of how a bill becomes law. And we're doing this for a reason, because we want to talk about some of the great legislation that you've been a part of in the following segment. But I was thinking about it last night as I was preparing the interview, that I think it's a good time to spend just a few minutes to explain to the average Georgian, how do we demystify the process? So I know sometimes, like when Governor Kemp was campaigning to be governor, there was things that were important to him that he ultimately then would come to the General Assembly and say, hey, here's things I campaigned on, put these on my desk. Or it might be something that you personally know is important to you. Maybe your constituents have been coming up to you and saying, hey, Representative Gaines, this is something that is vitally important. Or maybe it's something that your family discussed. So let's talk about that. The idea phase. Where do the ideas come from?
All sorts of different places. A lot of the ideas on legislation that I've come up with I jokingly but also seriously say I look at what Athens Clarke County does, and I pass the exact opposite. and there is a lot of truth to that. I mean, they've come up with some really bad ideas,
bizarre stuff.
Yeah, I mean. And I know we'll get into it next segment, but like they tried to cut the police budget by 50%.
Yeah, they're defund the police initiative. Yeah.
So, I passed a bill to stop local governments from doing that. And we elected a district attorney who just didn't enforce the law if she didn't like the law. So we passed a bill to try to make sure that citizens can hold DAs accountable. But anyway, I know we're going to talk more about that later. But it's so different ways, different people have different ways of coming up with things. For me, I look at what's going on in my community and try to address specific problems. And or I have a constituent reach out to me. I've had this happen several times where a constituent has told me about an issue in Georgia law, whether it's a gap in the law or whatever it may be. And, what they told me made complete sense. And so we passed legislation to address it. I've been there 7 years, have seen hundreds of bills, have voted on hundreds of bills, passed as the lead author of well over 25 pieces of legislation the last 7 years, and
incredible.
Well, yeah. I'm a big believer, and that's what I was elected to do, is to go and get stuff done, and that's I wasn't elected just to sit around and go to Atlanta. My job is to actually deliver and get things done.
And I think that's why there's so much wind in your sails right now, is because people have seen what you've done in just the few 5 or 6 years that you've been in the General Assembly, and they know how this is going to carry over into the United States Congress. We send our elected officials to their positions for a reason, because we want them to go to work, and you've got a history and a track record of that. So when this bill, so let's say you come up with an idea, or like I love the story you just shared where a constituent calls you and says, "Hey, here's something that we see as an issue." What's your next step?
So when you get an idea, you reach out to what's called legislative counsel, and those are lawyers that work in the General Assembly, whose job it is to craft the legislation in legal and lawyer ways, in terms, so that it's correctly done, and that it lines up with Georgia law, and
to be sure there's not unintended consequences, things like that.
Correct, and it's constitutional and what have you. And so when you come up with an idea, whatever it may be, you go and visit legislative counsel. They're in the Capitol, and you share with them, here's what I'd like to do. And then it usually takes them anywhere from a day to several weeks, depending on how complicated what you're trying to do is. If it's just changing one word, they can do it very quickly. But if you're trying to change something significant, it can take weeks to research and draft. And so you go see legislative counsel. They draft the legislation, and they'll let you know when it's ready. You go and pick it up out of your file. You literally go in the office, you pick it up, and it's all paper copies, that you're grabbing.
So you're reading through it then at that point with your team to see.
That's right. You want to make sure that just because you hand it legislative counsel and they do a great work, you want to also make sure that you agree with everything.
Because a lot might have changed, right?
Right. I mean, it's possible you thought that there was one way to address it, but the lawyers actually came up with a different way. And, you may or may not agree with it. And so you want to make sure you understand exactly what you have drafted, and you spend some time there before you move on to the next step, which is getting co-sponsors. You don't have to get co-sponsors for a piece of legislation, but it's generally a good idea.
So these are other representatives. Is it, if you're in the House, is it always going to be other representatives that are co-sponsors? Yeah.
That's right. Okay. And so you'll go to other colleagues in the House and explain to them what you're working on, let them read it, and if they agree with it, they'll sign on. And you can have as many co-sponsors as you want on the website. The first 6 co-sponsors sign up or show up, and so a lot of times you'll try to make sure that you have a strong top 6 co-sponsors to show that, hey, this bill's got momentum, it's got the right folks behind it, and we're going to get this thing passed. And so if it's going to, for example, a bill that is about public safety, you may want to go get the chairman of public safety to be your number 2 sponsor, so that when it goes to his committee,
you got a little firepower behind
That's right.
it. Yeah.
That's right. And so those are the kind of things that you're working on once you have the bill in a format that you're ready to go. If there's changes, by the way, you can go back to legislative counsel to make the edits, changes. And then you introduce the legislation. You go and drop it in the hopper, is what they call it, when you just take it to the front of the House chamber and you hand it to the clerk of the House. And the clerk, will then that evening, put it up on the website so that it's for the public. It'll have all the co-sponsors listed, and that's kind of where the process really starts. Because once it's out there, there's people all across the state, like Jeff Hood, who's our buddy.
He pays close attention.
He knows the bills very, very well, and that's a good thing. You want folks all across the state looking at it, and then they reach out to you and say, here's an issue I see with what you drafted, or that's a great bill, or whatever it may be.
So you're still massaging it at this point.
100%. 100%. All you've done is introduced it. It hasn't gone very far at all at that point. And then we can work more through the process, but it will be assigned to a committee, and the speaker has control over which committee it is assigned to. And that once it goes to a committee.
And for people that don't understand, you're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Houston Gaines. We're talking about how a bill becomes law. When it goes to committee, explain that to the listeners.
Yeah, so bill gets assigned to committee. It has to be read on the floor for a couple times before it can actually be heard in committee. I know this is kind of getting the weeds, but once it gets to committee, this is where the process really plays out.
And it's a panel. Committee's the big panel, 7 to 9 people-ish?
It can be anywhere from 10. Some of the committees are larger, 25. Okay. The House has 180 members, so some of these are larger committees.
Okay.
And so once it gets in committee, this bill sponsor would present what he's drafted. The committee members should have come into the committee meeting having read the legislation previously, have talked to folks that have opinions on the legislation, so they should come in with some knowledge of what they're about to be.
Shouldn't be the first time they're reading the proposed legislation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Should be. I'm not going to sit here and say they're all doing things the right way, but should not be the first time they've heard about it. And so once you get in committee, the bill sponsor would present the legislation, tell them what it's about. If there's anybody who wants to testify either for or against, they would testify for and against, and committee members can ask questions. But the bill sponsor or anybody who's testifying, sometimes that can take 5 minutes because it's a simple, word change. Sometimes that can take days of testimony. I mean, I've been through several pieces of legislation, like the elections bill, the Election Integrity Act that we passed in 2021. We literally had committee meetings every single day.
Wow.
And it ended up, one large bill, but literally every single day.
And that's a bill that garnered nationwide attention.
It did.
I mean, that was huge.
Well, and the media just lied about it. But that's,
I remember that.
Anyway, different topic for another day. But that, so some bills are, one committee hearing, and that's all it takes, and it's a simple thing. Some bills, it takes, dozens of committee meetings to work through it. Committee members can ask questions. And then ultimately, it's the committee's decision to send the bill forward
it keeps advancing
to what's called the Rules Committee. But in committee, the committee can make votes to make specific changes. They can do what's called a committee substitute, where they can literally substitute in an entirely different piece of legislation. Once it's in the committee, it's up to them on how they want to move forward.
They can squash it at that point too, as well.
They can. And most bills die in committee. And I tell people all the time, passing a piece of legislation is hard, but it should be.
Yeah.
Changing the law. And one of my seatmates in the House has a really good comment that she regularly makes, which is the state of Georgia has survived for a long, long time without whatever law we're talking about.
Right.
And we need to make sure that what we're passing is actually going to be a good thing, because the future of Georgia typically doesn't depend on one piece of legislation. I mean, we've done pretty well without it,
right?
For the last couple hundred years, and so that's something though that I think is a good thing, that it's hard to pass a bill.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And so once you get out of committee, it goes to and that's where again most bills die. But if you get it out of committee, it goes to Rules Committee. So every bill has to go from a House committee to Rules Committee. And again, in Rules Committee, you present the bill, but it's a very, very short presentation. I mean, it's like 15 seconds.
Okay.
You're just giving a very brief overview. Here's what the bill does. The Rules Committee members can ask questions. And then it's up to the Rules Committee to set the floor, to set what bills actually move to the floor. So again, a lot of the bills make it out of committee and they die in Rules.
Interesting.
A lot of bills die in Rules. And again,
Chastity, there's going to be a quiz on this later on. Are you paying attention?
I really am.
All
I
right.
am
Taking
so
notes over there? Yeah.
absorbing every bit of this. I love it. Thank you.
Our guest is Houston Gaines. He's walking us through the process of getting a bill from concept into law. Continue, Mr. Houston.
All right, and tell me when I'm.
You're killing it.
Well, no, I mean, tell me when it's boring or I'm going too deep in the weeds.
No, you're doing fantastic.
you get a bill in the Rules Committee every day. Rules meets at 9 a.m. before session starts at 10 a.m. And I often tell people the session starts at 10 a.m., but that doesn't mean we get there at 10 a.m. But I like to make that point. A lot of times you have a committee meeting at 8 a.m. or what have you. But anyway, Rules Committee meets every single day before session, and typically they're setting the calendar for the next day. So they're not setting the calendar for what's happening an hour from then, but for the following
Next day. Okay.
Some of that changes towards the end of session, but generally speaking, that's how it works. So Rules Committee determines what bills actually make it out onto the floor. So they set that process, but then ultimately the Speaker has to call the bill. So the Speaker, if he doesn't call the bill, even though Rules has put it on the floor, if he never calls it, it's never getting a House
That's his
vote.
personal choice.
That's his choice.
Yep.
100% the Speaker's prerogative. Now, Congress and other states, do things in a different way, but in Georgia, once it gets onto the floor, it's up to the Speaker.
That gives the
call
Speaker
bill.
a lot of power in the state of Georgia.
Oh, the Speaker has tremendous power. He sets what committee a bill goes to. He sets your committee assignments. He determines what bills make it to the House floor. So certainly a lot of power in that position. Once it gets to the House floor, or if it gets to the House floor, again, most bills have not made it this far. I mean,
Right.
Probably 20% of bills actually make it to the point of getting a floor vote in the House. Once it gets to the House floor, you got to get 91 votes. This bill author will present the bill, walk all the House, all 180 members through what the bill does. Again, if members are doing things the right way, they've already read this. They know what is going to be debated and talked about. And again, it could be a simple piece of legislation that takes 5-10 minutes to present. It could be a very controversial bill that takes hours.
And there's a lot of pontificating going on at this point from both sides.
That's right.
For or against.
That's right. And so generally speaking, the longest a debate goes in the House is two and a half hours. But we do have several bills that do that. And a lot of times the Democrats will spend, an hour all saying the same thing, but just to take up floor time.
Right.
And on the last day of session and what's called crossover day, which is when a bill has to be through the House to stay active, if you can take up 2.5 hours, that's a ton
You
of
could
time.
delay it, yeah.
And you can kill a bunch of bills that won't be able to get done by midnight.
Interesting, yeah.
So anyway, bill gets to the floor, crossover day, which is when a bill has to be through the House to stay active. If you can take up 2.5 hours, that's a ton
You
of time.
could delay it, yeah.
And you can kill a bunch of bills that won't be able to get done by midnight.
Interesting, yeah.
So anyway, bill gets to the floor. Members can ask questions of the bill author. Other members can stand up and talk about their perspective on the bill, what they think, and then it goes to a vote. The Senate, which is the Senate and House are very different, by the way, which
Yeah.
I think is one of the more interesting things about the General Assembly is how different the House and the Senate are. But in the Senate, you have 1 minute to vote. In the House, the Speaker determines how long you have to vote every single vote. So he could leave it open for 5 seconds, or he could leave it open for 20 minutes.
Really?
And generally speaking, though, it's he lets people have their, what you can call parliamentary inquiries, where you can just stand up and make a little statement. Or members can also ask the chair or the Speaker a question. Generally speaking, though, they're just trying to make a point out of a question.
Right,
You
yeah,
know.
they're trying to, again,
They're
make
saying,
a political
is
point.
it not true this bill's great,
Yeah.
or whatever? And but the Speaker opens the vote. If it gets 91, it passes. If it gets less than 91, it fails. But you can do what's called a motion for reconsideration. So then, if a member can ask for a bill to be reconsidered. So if a bill fails, that author may ask for reconsideration. If reconsideration passes, the bill goes back onto the calendar. The Speaker can call it whenever he wants, because it still remains on the calendar, but it doesn't come right back up immediately.
And now your job, if you're the author or if you're one of the co-sponsors, you're trying to go round up support, right?
Exactly.
Turn
You're
some
going to
of
go
those
look and
no's
see who voted no.
Yeah.
How do I get to 91?
Yeah, okay.
So that gives that member some time to figure that out. Now, sometimes the bill, dies very, quick death, and it doesn't even get close, and you're not going to ask for reconsideration because it's gone.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that can happen. A lot of times after we pass legislation that the minority party doesn't like, they'll ask for reconsideration, and we'll vote it down, and then the bill moves forward to the Senate.
Yeah.
So those are the sort of things that happen in the House, and then basically it all happens again in the Senate. It goes to Senate committee, it goes to Senate Rules Committee, it goes to the Senate floor. If they make even one word change, it comes back to the House. Now, when it comes back, it does not go through committee again. It goes straight to the floor.
Little fast track.
But again, the Speaker has to actually call it. So just because it comes back to the House doesn't mean it's ever getting another vote. So there's so many ways a bill can die, which, again, I don't think is a bad thing. I actually think it's good that it's hard to pass a piece of legislation. But there's so many parts of the process in the House, the Senate, and most pieces of legislation have some sort of tweak or change in the Senate to come back. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing. You want as many eyes looking at this as possible.
That way it's vetted by as many
That's
people.
right.
And again, like you said, unintended consequences is a big deal. So once it clears the Senate, clears you guys, then that's when it maybe arrives at the governor's desk for him to sign off.
That's right.
And that still is another chance for the governor to say,
Right, he can veto it.
Yeah.
The governor has that authority in Georgia to veto any bill that he chooses. And so that's certainly, again, the last stop. And, occasionally there have been times where even a bill author, after the session is over, the author of the bill saw something wrong with their own legislation, asked the governor to veto it. Because things do move quickly during session. I mean,
Right.
and so I have heard of that happening. Sometimes that happens with like local legislation. Where
they want to tweak it a little bit more.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's a good thing that there's multiple steps for a bill to become a law, and it's a challenging process.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this recorded segment available to Dr. or Professor Bullock, and he can use this when he's teaching at UGAs. This was good stuff. That was a great breakdown.
Well, it is a complicated but good process, and I think that the way Georgia does it as a citizen legislature is a very good thing. You don't have full-time people just running for office. These are citizens who are in their communities, who have, other responsibilities. But for 3 months a year, to go to the Capitol, January, February, March, and work on legislation and our budget, which we didn't get into the budget, but we passed a large budget every year that impacts Georgia as well. And so I think it's the way that Georgia operates, where we're there for a short period of time to do what's important for the state of Georgia, and then we're done with session, I think is a good way that our state does it. I was talking to actually a California legislator last week. They're full-time. They're there all year round, and you see what production California does as a result.
Yeah,
not very good.
Way too much government involved in it.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Houston Gaines. Houston just broke down for us how a bill comes from concept into law. When we come back, we're going to talk about actual legislation that he has been a part of. Stick around.
Here's Evan Youngblood for Youngblood Tractor in Madison.
Did you know Youngblood Tractor is much more than just tractors? Sure, we have the biggest selection of Massey Ferguson tractors around and all the attachments you could ever need. But did you know we also carry the Kawasaki side-by-side lineup like the legendary Kawasaki Mule, Terex, and Ridge? That's Kawasaki's new cab model with heat and AC. Youngblood Tractor also carries the complete Spartan zero-turn mower lineup from residential to commercial zero-turn mowers. Combine that with our massive trailer inventory of equipment, dump, enclosed, and utility trailers, you can always build a winning combination at Youngblood Tractor right here in Madison. We also feature a full parts and service department to help maintain your equipment for years to come. Whether you're a full-time farmer, hunter, or property owner looking to maintain your land, Youngblood Tractor is here to make your next outdoor project a success. Call us today at 706-342-2242 or stop by and see us at 1600 Athens Highway in Madison or shop us 24 hours a day at youngbloodtractor.com.
Anytime is a great time to make memories of the Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary in Lilburn. Close to home and fun for the entire family. Not only will you see wildlife up close, like bears, otters, bison, and more, you can enjoy a picnic lunch. There's gem mining and so much more. The Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary, 4525 Highway 78 in Lilburn. Make plans to visit soon. To learn more, go to yellowriverwildlifesanctuary.com.
Since 1979, the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family has been caring for families in their time of need. The Tim Stewart family pledges to honor your loved one with excellence in service, compassion, and will guide you in making the right decisions. To learn more about the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family, stop in at one of their 3 locations in Monroe, Loganville, and Lawrenceville. Call 770-267-2594 or go to stewardfh.com.
Here comes the season for believing, and you better believe that Covington Ford wants to be your number one local Ford dealer. To prove it, they're giving you a lifetime powertrain warranty on nearly all new Fords they have in inventory. For instance, pick a new F-150, get 0% for 60 months below invoice pricing, a lifetime warranty, and one less worry on your plate. Some restrictions may apply, so call for details 770-863-3432, located in Covington.
Do you have unwanted or scrap gold and silver jewelry just lying around? What about sterling flatware or gold and silver coins and bars? Madison Coin and Bullion will pay top dollar for any precious metals you own. Madison Coin and Bullion also offers a large selection of gold and silver coins and bullion available to purchase at competitive prices. And if you're looking to purchase jewelry at a considerably lower price, look no further than Madison Coin and Bullion. Madison Coin and Bullion, located at 2492 Eatonton Road in Madison, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Houston Gaines. He's a representative in the Georgia Assembly, and he is running to be our next congressman in Georgia's 10th district. Houston, so you broke down fantastically the mechanics of a bill coming into law. Let's talk about some legislation that you're proud of, that you had a hand in, whether it was something you authored or you're part of the team. What comes to mind?
Well, I've been fortunate to be involved in a lot of different things. And, I mentioned a little while ago the legislation that stopped local governments from defunding the police. I mentioned the legislation we worked on to hold district attorneys accountable. So if they're not doing their job, citizens can file a complaint and they can be held responsible, whether removed from office or suspended by a panel of other district attorneys and retired judges, which, by the way, while the media made it out to be something it wasn't. Judges have had this in place for decades, and it's important that citizens have the opportunity to hold district attorneys accountable, because previously, if a DA just didn't like the law, they just didn't enforce it.
There's no recourse.
Nothing you could do, which is crazy.
Well, here's what's bizarre. Think about this for a second. That those two pieces of legislation, if you were to go back, say, 20 years, let's just go back to the early 2000s or the 1990s, and if you had spoken to a representative on either side of the aisle in Georgia at that time, they would have thought you lost your mind.
100%.
So wait, what do you mean we have to put in legislation to stop communities from defunding the police?
Just like we had to pass a bill this year to make sure that men aren't competing in women's sports. I mean, who would have thought even 5 years ago you would need a bill like that? I mean, that's crazy.
We were just talking about that in the beginning of the show, the male cheerleader for the Charlotte Panthers or the Carolina Panthers that's been let go. I didn't know that was still going on. That's a women's sport, and as a man competing in a women's sport. But here we are. And so
that's the world we're apparently in. But we've pushed back on that kind of stuff. This woke stuff. I mean, we have taken on in Georgia. I mean, I still think we have a ways to go. But every year, unfortunately, the Democrats are really the far left progressive group, which unfortunately is becoming more and more so just the entire Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
They come up with more crazy stuff that we have to pass legislation each year to address. And, again, the Riley Gaines Act we passed last year. The other one this one blew me away last session, and I know that I'm getting off topic a little bit.
No, that's great stuff.
But we passed a bill that said if you are an inmate in prison in Georgia, that taxpayer dollars cannot be used to pay for a sex change surgery, because there was a court ruling that basically allowed that to occur. So we passed legislation to say you can't do that you are a prisoner and you can't use taxpayer dollars to pay for a sex change surgery.
You think everybody would agree with this?
I mean, this is one where I'm like, the Democrats are not dumb enough to oppose this. I mean, they're not the brightest, but not this. They walked off the floor and I have been there 7 years. They have never walked off the floor and protested over anything else in my 7 years. But the entire caucus, other than two of them, walked off the floor and protested. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So you just hit a nerve with them. It's like, hey, this is the one thing we got to have. We want to be sure taxpayer dollars go to changing sex change surgery for inmates. Just mind-blowing. So did that got passed into law?
It did.
It's just stunning, though. These are, if you look at the four things that you just went through, these are things that we never dreamt would need to be crafted into legislation. When those are coming about, what kind of headwinds are being dealt with in the the committee process or the rules process, what are you dealing with at that point? Is there infighting within the Republican Party, or what's going on at that point?
I mean, on issues like that, I think, Republicans are unified.
Pretty
I mean,
unified.
Okay. I mean, on that one, and we had several other bills that the Democrats went crazy over. But I will say, even like on the Riley Gaines Act, I mentioned there were two Democrats that voted for it.
Okay.
And even the heartbeat bill we passed 7 years ago, which only passed by one vote.
So you were first year in the General Assembly at that point.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. One Democrat actually voted for that, which was really something. So there's one or two Democrats that recognize that the left has gone off the deep end.
Right.
But generally speaking, I would say on these sort of issues, the Republican caucus is unified, and I think that's because of the folks that we have in the legislature, and I think we also have a really good leadership team. I'm honored to be vice chairman of our Republican caucus, and that's something
quite an accomplishment too.
Well, we work hard to make sure that Republicans in the state house are delivering on issues that matter most to Georgians.
What about the constituent-driven policy? You mentioned earlier one that rise to the top, bubble to the top, that was from one of your constituents. Can you think of any legislation that maybe came from that, where you weren't maybe acutely aware of what was taking place and somebody brought it to your attention that this is an issue, and then it actually made it into laws, or anything that jumps out at you?
The biggest one to me is a piece of legislation that I carried 3 years ago, the Coleman-Baker Act. And what this did was Tara Baker was a young woman in Athens who was murdered in the late 90s, and it was a cold case, never solved.
Okay.
And her family, and then also Rhonda Sue Coleman in South Georgia, her family, another cold case, a young woman who was murdered, and the case was not solved. These two families came together, and they said, we need to do something to help victims of cold cases across the state. And so I met with those families for months before the session, and we crafted legislation that created a cold case unit within the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
Wow.
That gave families the opportunity to request a reinvestigation of their loved one's case if it had been cold for a certain number of years. And so we worked through several pieces of a process to allow cold cases to be reopened and to have families get justice for their loved ones. And it helps take someone who committed a murder off the streets.
Yeah, that's right.
And so that was, when I leave the legislature next year, my last year, that's going to be one of the things, if not at the very top, one of the top couple of things I'm most proud of, is that we got that legislation passed. We've also funded the cold case unit. And one of the most amazing things I'll never forget, I was at an event in Atlanta, and all of a sudden my phone was blowing up. I got a call from the governor, the first lady, the GBI director, and I said, gosh, what did I do? Why are all these folks calling me? I must have done something wrong. But they were all calling to share with me that they had found a suspect in the Tara Baker case.
Wow.
And that individual is now on trial in Clark County. And because of what we did in Georgia, they have found a suspect and somebody that...
How old was that case?
Over 20 years.
Wow, that's incredible. Folks, your representative matters. You got to have a representative that lends his ear, that invests his time and energy, and that is a great story and in my opinion, an incredible example of servant leadership. Being in that position and listening to your constituents and bringing this specific bill that you talked about, bringing something like that to light, and the good that comes of it. That's just incredible. I love that story. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Houston Gaines. He is running for Congress. He is currently a representative in the Georgia General Assembly. Houston, before we take this final break, any important legislation, say important to you, that you want to work on in this next upcoming session?
Yeah, I mean, there's several things that I haven't quite gotten over the finish line that I've been working on. Obviously public safety, as I've talked about, whether it's the defund the police or the district attorneys, or other issues in that arena that I've worked on for several years. There's a number of public safety issues I'd still like to get over the finish line. I had a bill last year that got through committee, and we just weren't able to get it on the House floor in time. Was a bill addressing where local governments are not enforcing their ordinances related to homelessness. and camping. And, you've been to Athens, I know, many, many times. And, in Athens, in our downtown area, we have a massive challenge. And it's because our local government's not doing its job. And so it allowed private citizens and private businesses to hold their local governments accountable. If their local government's not enforcing their own ordinances, their own rules, then a citizen, if you have to put up security cameras or if you have to put up fencing to keep your property safe, then you can get a refund on your property taxes. Because the only way to get these local governments to do anything is
hit them in the
pocketbook.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that's what we've designed with the bill. And so whether it's costs that you incur or if the value of your property is diminished because of the local government's inaction, you can go and get a refund up to that amount.
So that can be recuperated as well.
That's
wow.
right. That's right. Up to the point of your tax bill, not going beyond what you actually owe in taxes. But, again, this is a way to hold local governments accountable. And our hope is that no person can ever even use it because we just want local governments to actually enforce the law. Arizona actually passed something very similar on a constitutional amendment in the 2024 ballot, passed over 60%, in a state that was 50-50, but over 60% of voters approved it. And what you've seen is many local governments addressing the issues that they've put on standby for years. And I think that's something that would have a really positive impact here in Georgia.
And that's what I've always said, is that the conservative approach to the homelessness issue is to get to the systemic reason as to why and fix it from that perspective, whereas the liberal approach is to appease and to just continue to make it acceptable and make it part of society, and that's not going to work.
It's not, and these individuals who are sleeping, on a bench in downtown Athens, it's horrible for that person.
It is.
It's not only is it unsafe for the community, and bad for businesses right there. It's horrible for that individual. It's not, what the Democrat approach is not working, and it's time we do something different.
Appeasing and enabling never, ever works. Marc McMain, show our guest, is Houston Gaines. When we come back, we're going to learn more about his run for United States Congress. Stick around.
I'm Dutch Guest, Republican for State House, and I approve this message.
I'm Houston Gaines.
And this is Marcus Wiedauer.
We've got a few things in common.
Like we both graduated from UGA.
Go Dogs, and we both represented parts of Clark and Oconee in the State House.
And we both passed some strong conservative legislation.
Mine were definitely more conservative.
Debatable. But one thing that isn't up for debate, we both beat radical Democrats to keep these districts red.
And now it's Dutch's turn.
He's the only Republican in this special election, and he needs our help.
I'm Houston Gaines, and I'm supporting Dutch Guest for State House.
Supporting? That's nice, Houston. I'm Marcus Wiedauer, and I endorse Dutch Guest for State House.
Why do you always try to one-up me?
Well, I'm not the one running for Congress.
Thanks, fellas. I'm Dutch Guest, Republican candidate for State House District 121. It's no secret the radical left is coming after this seat. Let's show them they messed with the wrong district. Early voting is underway, and Election Day is December 9th. Vote Republican, vote Dutch Guest. Paid for by Elect Dutch Guest, Inc.
Hey, this is Doug.
And this is Robbie.
We own and operate Foy Tree Service.
When you need tree cutting, stump grinding, lot clearing, mulching, firewood, and more, call Foy Tree Service.
Serving Morgan County and surrounding area since 1987.
With top quality service and fair prices, we take pride in our work, and we do everything to make sure that you are a happy customer.
That's Foy Tree Service. Call us at 706-342-8733.
That's 706-342-TREE.
A new semester means new opportunities to start something great. Athens Technical College is accepting applications for spring semester. Athens Technical College offers practical training and programs built for real-world careers. Are you ready to level up? Spring into a new future at Athens Technical College. Apply today at athenstech.edu/apply. That's athenstech.edu/apply. Athens Technical College is an equal opportunity institution.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal, you're part of a tradition. I'm Josh Parker, 4th generation owner, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Mondays for lunch and Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
Madison Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood. They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops, all military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
Welcome back, Marc McMain. Our guest is Houston Gaines. He is a representative in the Georgia General Assembly, and he is running now for United States Congress in Georgia's 10th Congressional District. Houston, it's no longer big news. This is, everybody knows that you're running. You've come out of the gates swinging such that nobody, at least that I'm aware of, has decided to enter this race, which is good. You've got all the momentum. You've got every endorsement that I can think of. You guys are a train that is in full steam ahead mode. Tell us, the decision to run, was this something that was it in the back of your mind, hey, if this seat comes open, I want to carry my skills to the federal government? Where was this born from?
Well, it's something, that 4 years ago, when the seat was open, I gave it some consideration at that time.
Yep.
Ultimately made the decision not to, which, I think was the right decision for me at the time. And I can go into all that, but ultimately, I made the right decision.
Timing is everything.
It is. It is. No, 100%. And so when, Mike Collins shared with me that he was planning to run for the U.S. Senate, I made the decision very soon thereafter to go ahead and put my name forward and get in the race. And the reason I did it, because I'll tell you, I don't know how excited I am necessarily to be in Washington, D.C., but I feel like we need people in Congress who know how to get things done.
Yes.
What President Trump's been able to do over the last 8 or 9 months is remarkable. You think about how, just the peace deals, the trade deals, everything that has happened just here in a very short time. Yep. And he needs folks, and we need folks in Congress who know how to get things done. And that's, my plan is I've shown over the last 7 years I know how to deliver on real issues. And that's what I plan to go to Congress and do. Right now we have a very, very slim Republican majority. We got to grow that majority. And I'll tell you, as you mentioned, I don't have a Republican opponent. I do have a Democrat opponent next November. I think there's 2 Democrats running. So we're going to win this primary. We're going to win the general next year and keep this seat red. But we are also going to go and make sure we grow our Republican majority in the House. We have to.
Yeah, it's narrow.
It's too narrow. It's too narrow. It makes governing very, very challenging. And of course, we need to win some more U.S. Senate seats. We got to get rid of John Ossoff next November here in Georgia. Yep. And anyway, I know I'm getting off topic.
No, it's a big deal, because if we're going to get things done, we need to have control of both chambers. And I think that your experience in your success, your track record of success in the General Assembly, I do believe that translates. Do you think that gives you a leg up in getting there? And I understand it'll be your first time in D.C. Everybody has to start somewhere. You're a smart guy. You're going to figure out the lay of the land. How do you think that the experience you've had now, 6-7 years in the General Assembly, translates to Washington?
I do think it gives me an advantage that I know how to work in a legislative process. I know how to work in a environment that is, I think a lot better in Georgia, but it's a similar, type of environment where you got to work through committees and you got to work, some of the things that we just talked through in the last segment or 2 segments ago. It's very similar in that you have to work through a process.
Right.
And so I know how to do that. I've talked to some of the congressmen that are in D.C. on the Republican side. They've shared with me, some of them have been former state legislators. I'm thinking about, someone who I was talking to just a couple weeks ago is in Texas. He was in the Texas state legislature, and he shared with me being in the Texas state house, was a huge advantage for him when he got to Congress. And I do believe it'll be an advantage for me when I get to Congress in a year and a half.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a head start
as
far
right.
as the procedural side. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Houston Gaines. He is running for United States Congress to represent Georgia's 10th Congressional District. I don't know that there's blue dog Democrats anymore. These are Democrats that are fundamentally conservative. If there are, they're a dying breed. They're few and far between. Is there any chance that when you get there that you can start pulling some independent-minded people that are not radicalized by the left to our side?
I hope so. And to your point, it's unfortunate, that there really aren't any moderate Democrats left. Certainly in Congress, it doesn't appear to be. We know when you see AOC and some of these other folks on TV,
Well, and I'll add to that, Houston. I think if you were to take the body of the Democrats, so let's just take the House, for example, and I don't know, let's say there's 215 Democrats-ish in the House. I do not think that represents the body of Democrats, the voter base in our country.
No, I agree with you.
I don't know how it's happened. It's an anomaly.
I agree with you, and it's unfortunate because there are out there voters. I think to your point, that are voting in Democratic primaries. They've got to even be sitting there saying these people are crazy,
right?
That are getting elected, and so. I remember a couple years ago, the congressman from New Jersey, Jeff Van Drew, I think was his name. He switched from Democrat to Republican.
Okay,
and so I hope we can continue to bring folks over to our side of the aisle. We got to win some of these tight seats across the country, and we got to maintain the seats that we have. And so I believe it's very, very important that we grow our Republican majority. And it's my belief. This is one of the other reasons I'm excited about running. A lot of folks in my age, unfortunately, have bought into the Democratic progressive agenda, and quite frankly, a lot of folks, under the age of 30, are, believing what the Democrats are saying.
Right.
And so, it's my belief we have to show that we can govern, get things done, and my hope is that if we can get elected to this seat, we can show folks, that are younger in their 20s and 30s. That we have a generation of conservatives who know how to govern, know how to get things done. Because it's my belief when people my age when people right out of college, when they start paying their property taxes and they start paying their income taxes,
they become Republicans.
You become Republican. And some of my friends have done that over the last few years, but then some of them, still continue to buy into what the progressive left is selling. And my belief is that when you look at actually what President Trump has done over, this term and his first term, and you look at what the Republicans have achieved, it's quite significant, and we just got to continue to share that message of what we've actually done to the American public.
Agreed, 100%. Marc McMain, Houston Gaines is joining me. Houston, I know it may be way too far in advance because you still have a Georgia General Assembly session coming up in 2026. You won't be sworn into the United States Congress until 2027. Is there, and I don't want to put you on the spot if it's too soon, but is there something in the back of your mind you're thinking, yeah, this is some legislation I'm excited about, maybe chomping at the bit to carry to the federal government? Is there ideas percolating?
There are. Obviously not trying to get ahead of my skis, but I do think people want to know what you're going to do if and when you're elected. And I think the same area of focus that I have had in Georgia will be the same focus I'll have in Congress, which is largely public safety.
Public safety, yeah.
Immigration. We didn't talk much about this in the segment on legislation I've worked on, but I was very, very involved in immigration legislation in Georgia last year. Laken Riley was killed in Athens, and we saw, just because of total disaster that the federal government had become on immigration. We also had gaps in state law, so we addressed that. But those are the kind of areas of focus, public safety, immigration, that you'll see me focused on in Congress.
Yeah, just buttoning down the common sense stuff, and then you can start working on the minutia.
That's right. I mean, you think about, what Mike Collins passed with the Laken Riley Act. I mean, it's just common sense.
That's right.
Common sense.
It is. I know you're a strong fiscal conservative. Is there any chance that we can get 435 members of Congress to agree to reduce our deficit and our debt?
We have to. It's for the next generation. The deficit and the debt that we have built over decades is going to have a tremendously negative impact on this country. I mean, it's we're over $30 trillion in the hole, and we have to do something. And there's going to be hard political choices to make if we actually want to do something on it. But we have to, and I simply believe we cannot afford to let that issue go on for another couple decades, because I think we are getting to the point where you can't come back from it.
Washington, D.C. is an expensive place to live. Congress doesn't make huge money. You probably have to find a roommate or someplace, maybe get a mobile home up there.
Or sleep in the office or something. We'll have to figure that out when the time comes, but it's I don't know that it ain't going to be luxury living, which is it shouldn't be.
The place is not cheap up there.
No, that's right.
Yeah, definitely not a cheap place. Houston, you've been very generous with your time. We wish you nothing but the absolute best on the campaign trail. And I'm thinking maybe after this next legislative session, if you've got time, we'd love to have you back maybe for a recap as to what you guys got accomplished in this go-around.
That'd be great.
Tell folks how you can find out more about you if somebody wants to support you, whether it be financially, if they want to be a part of your team, which is building across the 10th district. They want to help put up signs, knock doors, things like that.
That'd be great. HoustonGaines.com, HoustonGaines.com is our website. You can sign up to volunteer, request a sign, donate. It's all right there. All of our social media handles are at Houston Gaines. So if you're on X, Facebook, Instagram, I think those are the only 3 we do. But please follow us on those accounts. We try to keep folks regularly updated where we are. We also have an email newsletter. If you'd like to join it, you can do so on our website. We'd love to have you sign up so we can share with you when we're going to be in different parts of the district. We have hit all 20 counties, and we're doing it every single day. We're not slowing down just because there's no other Republican opponent. I don't care. We are going to work overtime to make sure we tell folks what we plan to do when we're elected to Congress next year.
I love it. I love the example that you're setting. I know you're a fiscal conservative. At least give Dad a nice tip when he really knocks it out of the park on a driving day.
I will do that. Buy him dinner maybe or something.
Take him to Batty's Burgers. Get him a triple.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. We're blessed. So, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And, happy Thanksgiving to all the listeners as well.
Well, absolutely. What a treat. Houston Gaines was our guest. He is running for Congress. Learn more about him. Support him. He's going to do one heck of a great job for us when he gets to Washington, D.C. You've been listening to the Marc McMain Show. Join us tomorrow from noon. Until then, we will see you then. Be safe.